Now, if you love Dollar Tree and you love Crafter Square, then you are going to love today's video. My name is Jamie. I'm the crafty DIY guy. Welcome back to my channel. All right, everyone, and for the first DIY project today, we are going to be taking some of these scrap pieces of wood from Dollar Tree. You can get these that have this nice kind of rounded edge, or you can get these that have a nice smooth side and then there's a rougher side. Either one will definitely work because you're actually going to be cutting these down a little bit. Now you can see a little bit of a mark there, and I just added that mark because this is where I'm going to, or kind of where I want my alphabet to be placed, and also that line represents where I'm going to be cutting. Now, the kind of taller piece that I have here, I kind of struggled going back and forth with wanting to cut these down, but then ultimately did decide to cut them down. As I was kind of playing around with them, I just thought that the back or the side of the bookend would just be way too tall and it would just look kind of weird. So I just kind of lined up approximately where I thought I would need to cut it. And it was kind of right there in the middle of that price sticker. So that worked out good. But I did go ahead and peel that off successfully, which was also good. As we know, sometimes this doesn't always happen with some of these pesky stickers. And then again, I just kind of took a pen, I marked it where I was going to start cutting, and I just drew a straight line with my ruler. This was one of the few items that I do actually measure and, rule out, because I do want this to be nice and straight. All right, and now I've got all of my pieces of wood marked where I'm going to be cutting them, so it is time to go outside and cut them. And because I'm a little accident prone lately, I'm going to do that off camera. Now that these are cut, I am going to sand this down. I just grabbed this random piece of sandpaper that I have. I have to go and restock my sandpaper that I pick up from Dollar Tree, but that's okay. I can definitely get some, and I can use this one until. Just go ahead and sand those edges down nice and smooth, and then we're going to use a combo. My glue gun actually has wood glue in it, so we are going to do a combo of wood glue, and then we're going to join those sides, and then we are also going to use those little finishing nails because I do want this to hold together, and this is something that I am planning on using. You're going to see it in my craft room when I do my craft room reveal. I've been doing some changes in my craft room lately that I'm really excited about. And now for placement of the letters, obviously making sure that the A and the Z are placed there correctly, which it almost was not. And now I am going to add my glue. So I'm going to add my glue onto basically any of the parts that are going to stick directly to the wood and have contact with the letter and the wood itself. So do that with your Z and with your A. Obviously, they are different letters, so they have different touch points. So make sure that any of those touch points of the letter and the wood bookend are going to touch each other. That way you've got really good contact for everything. Now, if you don't cut yours perfectly straight, or if you've, get some Crafter square wood that's just not perfectly straight, it's okay, because that's kind of what you get sometimes when you use some Crafter square materials. Now I'm painting mine this Nantucket blue. This is by Rust-Oleum, and this is a paint that I have really fallen in love with, and I love it for an accent color. And of course, you know me and my favorite color, blue. So once I finished spray painting this, I had 2 coats on this. These bookends were done. How wonderful are these? I absolutely love these. I think that they're a great addition to any kind of space. I almost painted them black, but my furniture is really dark in the craft room, so I figured the bright blue was perfect and iconic for me. Don't you love these? All right, for my next DIY, we're going to grab this square block from Crafter Square. I got the wooden dowel rod from Crafter Square, and also these round wood shapes. I've only found these one time at my Crafter Square Dollar Tree location. I have not seen them yet. However, I have bought very similar rounds at places like Amazon and Hobby Lobby, so you can definitely do that if you want to recreate this. Now, for that wood block, that is a solid wood block, which I really do love about the Crafter Square wood blocks. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of line up my drill bit, and then I'm just going to drill a hole directly in the center of that. And I'm going to try and get this nice and straight. I have not really figured out exactly how to drill a straight hole in my wood. I always have it at an angle one way or another. But anyway, now that I've got the hole drilled, I am going to add some of my wood glue once again inside of there. Wood glue, by the way, you can get this from Sure Bonder. I absolutely love it, and it definitely works really well. I'm going to go ahead and stick my dowel rod in there, and then it's time to start adding my circles. Now, I've got one circle that's kind of a medium size, and then I've got one that is a larger size, and I thought it would be fun to kind of mix it up and put the smaller circle on the bottom and then the larger circle on the top. I'm just kind of making like a kind of free form decorative object. You know, if you go to places like Z Gallery or At Home or Pottery Barn or any of those types of stores, you always see these kind of knickknackies. Usually they're made out of metal and they're like $20 or so. And I thought, you know what? Nope, I'm going to make my own version of these. So once I figured out kind of the first placement of my wood circle there, I went ahead and added the second circle. I'm going to add some glue onto the sides of the dowel rod here just to make sure that that's nice and solid. These are going to be up against a flat wall, so there's no need to have to cover up that backside. However, if you did want these to maybe be on a sofa table or maybe even on your coffee table, I would highly recommend adding another wood circle to the back that's the same size. And then you'll have a very cool kind of three-dimensional artwork, if you will, that you can kind of see from multiple sides. I don't know if that's 3D technically, but I think you know what I mean or what I'm trying to say. So go ahead and glue your other circle as well, holding the pressure until that glue starts to hold. And then definitely go ahead and add some more glue onto the side of that dowel rod. Now, for my next one, I actually had some spare pieces, so I thought, why not make a smaller one that will complement it? So again, taking that smaller piece of wood, that was a piece of scrap wood. I'm not exactly sure where it came from. I've got the dowel rod once again from Dollar Tree and Crafter Square, and then that wood circle once again, just kind of going through that same process, gluing it down on the space that I thought it would look good, and then adding some extra glue on the back. Now, I am taking also a piece of this wallpaper. This is from Dollar Tree. If you've not seen this wallpaper, this is one of my favorite wallpapers. I think it's got such a cool kind of contemporary look, and I really, really do love this. Now, I'm taking the wood circles. These are some extra wood circles that I have, and I am tracing out the shapes of those because I want to add this wallpaper to the front of those wood shapes. Now I've got two of the smaller ones and one of the larger ones. So again, just kind of placing it where I think it would look the best on that wallpaper. I kind of want to get that center diamond area. And then I had a thought that maybe it would be cool if I kept one of my circles just solid on one side, and then the other side had some cool gold and white wallpaper. So I'm kind of going with like a half moon kind of shape here. So once again, I'm just going to trace this out. I've got my pencil here, and then I am going to just start cutting it out. Now, this wallpaper is a little challenging to peel off. If you can create your circles or your shapes that you're going to be covering, and you can do it kind of on the break of where that wallpaper is, that is going to save you so much time. There was one of these circles that I actually could not peel off that wallpaper backing. I tried and tried and tried, and I ended up just gluing the whole thing down on top of it, and it worked out fine. But just to give you a little bit of a tip there, if you can do it along that break that comes naturally on the back of that, that would be fantastic. And also, by the way, if you are liking this video, please give me a like. It helps my channel out so much. And then, of course, remember to subscribe and hit that notifications button. That way, every time I do upload something, you will get a notification. Now, I've taken these outside and I'm spray painting them this antique gold color because that gold color is going to be perfect with that gold wallpaper. And the little baby one there, he's a little lightweight, so you got to be a little careful with him. And we stood him up and got him nice and somewhat upright, and then brought these inside. Now, I love the way that this gold is. I think this is going to be fantastic, especially popping off of that great wallpaper. So now it's just a matter of adding these circles to them. Now, the larger circle at the top there, and then you've got the smaller circle in the middle. I almost decided just to add my kind of wallpaper piece to just that center one or just that bottom circle, leaving the top one gold. I kind of wish I would have done it now that I'm sitting here like watching this in the editing. I'm using this purple Elmer's glue by Elmer's that I did pick up at Dollar Tree as well. If you have not used this glue, I highly recommend it. I love it so much. It sprays on purple and then it dries clear, and it's so good because you get to really know where you're spraying it. And in this case, I didn't have like a glue stick or anything. So I'm just going to take my paintbrush here. I'm just going to smooth out some of that purple glue, making sure that I've got all of that wood square or that wood circle. All of a sudden it's a square. I don't know what I'm thinking. That wood circle. And then I am just going to peel the backing off. This one actually did work. And I'm just going to stick it right down to that lower circle there. And again, I love the way this looked. I kind of wish I would have like not done the second circle on top. However, it does turn out really, really good. So again, just kind of taking that spray glue, spraying it down, wiping it around with that brush and just kind of moving it around, making sure that I've got maximum coverage with all of that glue, because I want to make sure that this is going to stick, because I love these. I absolutely love these, and these are going to go, I believe, in my craft room space. They may actually go in the bathroom as well, but adding that glue, that top one, by the way, was the one that the backing did not come off of. And then for this other smaller one, I'm doing the same thing, except for I'm only adding glue to just a small part of that, because remember, this one is our half circle that we've been working on. And the half circle is going to be so cool looking. I really, really loved the way that this looked. I did end up trimming it down just a little bit to kind of really have a half circle versus I think what I had before was almost like a 3/4 circle. And again, so obsessed with these. I love the way that these turned out. What I also love, by the way, about that Elmer's glue is that it is not an immediate hold. So if you need to shift things around or you need to move things around like I'm doing here to line everything up straight, you can before that starts to adhere. And then boom, they are all done. I love the way that these look. They are so contemporary, super modern. These are going to look fantastic in the bathroom, and I am beyond thrilled with these. All right, for this next Crafter Square inspired Dollar Tree DIY, I'm taking this sign that I picked up in the sign section, and then I have this ribbon. They've moved the ribbon into the Crafter Square section at my store. I don't know if everybody is experiencing that. And then these wooden roses. I found these in 3 places in my store. It was hilarious. I found them in the section where the decor is. I found them in Crafter Square, and I found them in the garden area. So definitely look around for them. Now I've got my Deco Art chalk paint here. This color is called Carbon, and it is black, and I love it. Now for this unicorn that I just peeled off of there, of course we're gonna save him. I have to use a unicorn. I have a great, cute idea for making just a very simple magnet with that. Now for the kind of center paper here, it does not peel off very easily. So I just decided to leave it, and I just started painting. So I am kind of painting this very, very slowly. Originally, I was just going to paint the sides of this dark black, and then as you will see, I decided to let that dry and kind of brought out my heat gun and just kind of played around with that. I was going to introduce another color. I thought maybe I'd go with a white around the edging. And it just kind of organically turned into this more modern farmhousey kind of look, really. So I took the top of it and started painting it as well, that same carbon color. And then once again, just brought out the heat gun and just made sure everything was nice and dry. And then I decided that I would just paint the inside of it black as well, or that carbon color. And again, just kind of getting into all those corners and everything, making sure that I had a brush that was nicely saturated with paint because I could spread it around. That's the great thing about chalk paint that I love, love, love so much. And then took out the heat gun and decided that I would kind of let it rest here because I thought that the roses that I was going to be adding to this would actually kind of cover up what you're seeing there in the background. However, when I took the roses kind of out of the packaging, I then kind of realized that with the hole that's in the middle of those wood roses there, you're actually going to kind of see a little bit of the backdrop there. And so I thought that wouldn't really look good. And then you've got a piece there where the cardboard is showing. And I just thought it would look just kind of odd. And I decided to go ahead and just paint everything black. So save yourself some time if you want to paint everything black. I thought that originally I would keep like the tops or the sides white, or paint those white, or keep them wood. I really went back and forth with this, but I'm really, really happy with the carbon color. And you'll see when this all turns out at the end that painting it all black was actually the right move. So now it is time to start placing my roses on my frame or inside my frame. And for this, all you have to do is just add a very generous amount of glue right to the kind of tip of the roses. And then you're going to glue these down. Now, they will shift a little bit. If you're very, very patient, you can just kind of hold them into place until they start to set up. I will say that I ended up, you'll see here in a little while, I ended up taking my heat gun and using it kind of as a prop. And that really helped a lot because when I started to kind of prop this up at a little bit of an angle, it helped keep those roses in place. So now that my frame was completely filled with roses, I wanted to embellish it a little bit. So I had this dogwood stem. This particular stem came from Amazon, but you can find these at Dollar Tree and other places. I think this is a dogwood stem. It's a greenery stem. You can add obviously any kind of flowers or anything that you want to the top of yours. So I went ahead and just separated this. That way I would have multiple pieces to work with. I only ended up using a couple pieces on each side though. So I definitely have some pieces that I can use for another project. And then I wanted to incorporate that really beautiful ribbon that I brought as well from Dollar Tree. So it kind of went back and forth with where to put this swag, and I decided to just do it at the top. What I loved about this also was that the picture hanger was already there from the previous kind of unicorn thing that was there, and then I just took those stems and just trimmed them down really, really closely, and then just literally added a kind of blob of hot glue, and then I took my Dollar Tree spatula and just used that to kind of help hold them into place while that glue was drying, trying not to burn my fingers so much. And then I'm taking that ribbon. Now, if you have not been following Jennifer from Little Bit of Common Crazy, you need to, because she has a bow hack that I will admit that I have not perfected yet. I have not been able to find the proper size zip ties. I can either find teeny tiny little tiny ones, or I can find really, really big ones. So I'm going to definitely go back and watch Jennifer's video. She does these amazing bows with zip ties, and they are so, so good. Mine, meh, it's okay. It ends up really, really cute at the end. But definitely check out Jennifer's channel, and I will link it down below, actually, in the description box, just in case you aren't following her. And be sure, of course, to tell her that Jamie from the Crafty DIY Guy said hello. And then I, kind of created my bow. I thought it was cute. Now, for the kind of pieces of the ribbon, I call them the tendrils. I don't know what they're really technically called. If you know what they're called, please let me know in the comments below, because I truly have, is it all a ribbon? Is it a bow? Is it a ribbon? Is it all the same thing? Anyway, I'm going to take some random pieces here and I'm going to kind of spread them out under some of the green stems there, because I want to give it the illusion like this is a beautiful tied bow. And then I'm going to take my little tiny zip tie bow and I'm going to add it on top there, and I'm going to try and fluff them out a little bit, but I don't think I made my ribbon pieces quite long enough. But when it's all done, this is what it looks like. I think that this is super, super cute. I could totally see like 6 or 8 of these in an entryway. I think they would be fantastic, and I'm really, really, really happy with the way these turned out. Now, this next DIY is definitely all Crafter Square. This beaded strand from Crafter Square. I've only seen these in my store one time. I was able to snag like 3 or 4 of them when I found them, and that was pretty much it. Now, if you're noticing the camera shaking there just a little bit, I apologize. Something wacky is going on with my camera. Now that my camera is all settled down now, I'm going to take the beads off of this strand. Now, you could certainly keep the beads on the strand if you want, but because I'm going to be adding a tassel and I wanted something a little bit different, I am going to use some Dollar Tree twine. Now, this twine, I don't know what's going on with this twine lately. It used to be like very nice, and now it's just like thick and it's got these knots in it, and I just have not been happy with the Dollar Tree twine lately. Are you guys experiencing the same thing? Let me know in the comments below. Anytime I'm threading anything on twine, I always take my hot glue gun and add some glue to kind of stiffen up that twine. That way you can thread everything really, really easily. Now, this is way more twine than I need to have, but I am going to trim this down a little bit, and then I'll keep my excess that I don't use and I just throw it in my junk drawer. For the 2 pieces of twine that I did bring together there, I am once again using my hot glue gun trick because it's going to create a nice kind of needle effect, if you will, so I can start threading those beads. Now, I'm taking the beads off of the beaded garland that I got from Dollar Tree Crafter Square, and they have a nice generous hole, so I'm able to kind of thread these really, really easily with the twine, and it does kind of it's kind of tight, which I actually don't mind at all. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just thread this until it's the length that I need. And then what's so great about these is because I've got that kind of double strand going on, when you pull the beads tight at the top of that cross, you are going to really, really see a difference because it looks so professional and it looks like somebody other than myself did it, or it doesn't look like a DIY, which is what I really, really liked about it. Now, the beads they're just kind of randomly spaced. There's no intention with that. These are all going to come together, and then once I've got the desired length, then I'm going to start making my tassel. Now, for the tassel, I wanted something different other than twine, and I found this twine at Dollar Tree in the Crafter Square section. I've also seen this in the nautical section, but they had this burgundy and khaki color, and then I could not find my navy and khaki colored one, which I would have gone for first. It's kind of ironic that I can't find that, actually. But I'm going to go ahead and take apart this twine. This twine is kind of similar to the other twine. It's just got weird, like, knots and I don't know, something about Dollar Tree's twine lately. But we are going to make this work because the lighter trick does work really, really well on this twine. So if you don't know what the lighter trick is, I think I may have filmed it at the end of here. Go ahead and just kind of mark off or, pull off, cut off as much twine as you think you're going to need. And then to create a tassel, you can do it a couple ways. You can wrap it around your fingers, kind of like I'm doing here. Or if you want something that's maybe a little bit bigger than your fingers, spread, you can use a piece of scrap wood like this, or a piece of cardboard. Cardwood. You could use cardwood too. The cardboard, I think, would be a better idea because it is a little more forgiving and a little more flexible. This wood, it was a little hard to get this tassel off of here once I was kind of ready to start working with it, but it wasn't the worst thing in the world. It did come off. You just had to be a little bit more patient with it. So once it did come off, you've got your kind of sections here that I'm holding with my fingers. I'm just going to cut off any kind of little random pieces. You don't really have to do that at this point. I just did. And then you've got your twine there that you are going to thread this on. Now, you remember I did glue these 2 pieces together because I've got kind of this needle effect going on. You're just going to go ahead and grab a pair of scissors and just cut that off. And then you're going to take the 2 ends, and you're going to tie it underneath one of the bundle, I guess I should say, at the underside of the bundle. So that's probably not making sense. It definitely didn't make sense as I was saying it. And but hopefully visually you see what I'm talking about here, what I'm doing. And then you're going to take some more twine and just kind of create that tassel at the top of it. And then you're going to take any of that excess. You're going to then cut those pieces at the bottom, and then you will pull everything together kind of like it looks like a ponytail. Reminds me of a ponytail for some reason. And then you're just going to take a nice sharp pair of scissors and you're going to cut it off. Now you've got a great decorative tassel that you can really use for anything. These are so easy to do. You could paint these. I decided to keep mine natural because it goes really well with my bathroom. And by the way, if you're loving that tray that you're seeing there, well, guess what? That tray is up next. To do that, we're going to take some of these Jenga blocks. This one obviously had a rough life at the Dollar Tree before I saved it. And then these oversized popsicle sticks. And then this wood sign that was also from Crafter Square. They're calling this a door sign or a welcome sign. And then I have this dowel rod that's also from Crafter Square. So go ahead and just remove any of the pieces here that you're not going to need. We're not going to need this twine at the top because we are creating a tray with this. And for the, any of the price stickers, anything like that, go ahead and remove. Now, you will notice that these Crafter Square popsicle sticks here, they're not the straightest bunch in the bag. In fact, there's quite a few of them that are not very straight. So I would just kind of eyeball it and pull out 2 of them that are straight. I ended up pulling out a couple here, but you definitely only need 2 of them for this project because we're going to create our handles with those popsicle sticks. So go ahead and first, break open your Jenga blocks, get those ready because you are going to be using about 4 pieces of those on the bottom of your trays. Now, those holes that you see at the top there, we're going to go ahead and just place our Jenga blocks over those holes. That way, you've got one less thing you've got to worry about. Now, for the holes themselves, though, I want to make sure that I've got an even placement on either side of my tray. Those Jenga blocks that I'm gluing down kind of at the ends, those are also going to serve as part of your handle. So go ahead and glue your Jenga blocks down. Go ahead and straddle that hole. And then I'm using my dowel rod that I'm going to be using as part of the handles as well, just kind of as my spacer. So repeat that on both sides, which I did here. All I did was just flip it over and just repeat that same exact process. And then you are going to start to kind of glue everything together. Now for those Jenga pieces in the middle there, that's really just for support. This is kind of a thin piece of wood. And you're going to want items that sit on your tray to be nice and flat and at the same surface levels there. So that's all I'm doing there. Now, for the holes, I am actually just going to add some hot glue into there. I don't have any more of my wood filler or my spackle from Dollar Tree, so you know I'm going to be making a Dollar Tree run soon. And then I'm just going to kind of shave off any of the excess glue there. And I wouldn't recommend doing this, really. It does leave marks and it's hard to paint over. I was just kind of in a pinch, I guess you could say. Now, for the sides here, I'm going to take my popsicle sticks. They're about 6 inches long, and I'm just going to mark them in the center point at 3 inches because we need to make sure that our handles are even on either side. Now, for this, just take your popsicle sticks, literally just mark it with a pen or a Sharpie or a pencil, whatever you happen to have, and then we are going to take a pair of pliers. This particular pair of pliers is called a lineman pliers, and we are going to cut these popsicle sticks. What I love about these lineman pliers is that they are nice and thick, and they have a very generous kind of cutting surface, and it really allows you to get a nice, flat, clean cut. Now, if you wanted to use, any other kind of tool, by all means, definitely use it. But these work really, really good for me. I picked them up in the electrical department at Home Depot, and I have used these forever. Now, go ahead and get your popsicle sticks nice and trimmed and cut, and then you're going to glue those on the sides there where the Jenga block pieces are. For the dowel rod I'm using here, it's it's actually long enough that I can get my 2 handles that I need out of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of eyeball it and mark it here with my Sharpie. And then once again, I'm going to use those same lineman pliers just to kind of chop those off. Now, the ends of it aren't going to come out super smooth, but just take a piece of sandpaper and you can flatten that out really easily, especially when you're working with like these little dowel rods and stuff from Dollar Tree. These are really easy, and they sand up really nicely. Now, I don't know what happened to the footage of me gluing the popsicle sticks on the side there, but you can kind of see exactly what I was saying. You're going to glue those popsicle sticks on the side there where the Jenga block pieces were, and you're going to do that on each end. And then for your center dowel rod, you're just going to center it at the top. You're going to add hot glue onto each side of it, and then you're going to squeeze that together until this starts to hold. I'm still using that wood glue by Sure Bonder, by the way, so that's been fantastic. I actually have a glue gun now that is just dedicated to my wood glue from Sure Bonder. So if you are not familiar with Sure Bonder or any of their products, definitely check them out in the links below. I've got some linked not only in my affiliate store with Sure Bonder, but also in my Amazon store. Now you can kind of see how I've created the handles for my tray. This was actually mimicked after a tray that I saw online that was about $65, and I thought, no way, this is going to be perfect for the back of my toilet. I actually don't have a tray or anything back there right now, so I thought that this could be great. I'm using this metallic silver because it coordinates with all the fixtures and everything that I have, and boom, as you can see, this is fantastic. I really love this. I really love the way that this looks, and I was super happy with this one. All right, you guys, that is the video for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below which projects were your favorites. Also, if you are one of my long-term subscribers, I call you guys my OGs. That just means that you're a part of the original gang. Thank you guys so much for being here. Also, thank you for getting me to 50,000 subscribers. That is just mind-boggling. I am so appreciative of every single one of you, and I'm ready to ride this journey out as far as it will go. Who knows, maybe I'll be at 1 million followers like Bargain Bethany someday. If you are not subscribed to the channel, definitely subscribe, hang out with us, comment, like, hit the notification bell, all that other jazz that goes along with YouTube, and I will bring you more content very soon. Thanks guys, take care, bye-bye.